Before
we get started, that light will turn on, however it has to be manually screwed in. It's super jank, so I just left it off right now.
Okay.
Figured you guys would probably just be in the dark anyway.
You're on Facebook Live?
Yep.
Okay. Say hi.
Peeps.
Tell them who you are.
I'm Josh.
What's your sign?
Libra.
He's the owner.
Co-owner of this fine establishment.
Where's Katrina's chair?
It's back over here. We have it in another room.
Okay. That's just what it will always be known as.
So this right here, this is what we call the lobby area of Malvern Manor. Back in the day when this place was first originally built in the late 1870s, its primary function was a hotel. So this would have been the main lobby area. When people would come in here, they would get their rooms for the night, the week, the month, or what have you.
Is that still closed off?
What's that?
That door, because it was closed off last time.
No, you can get in and out.
Okay. We're going to leave it
through
locked.
here.
I was just curious if we could go in and out because we're going to go get food.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah,
Check your keys so we can
at
start unpacking.
We already got it.
at the time, the railroad sat just a couple hundred yards outside of that door. So the primary patrons here, I guess, were from the railroad. So people coming and going constantly. We also know this is the fourth structure that was built in this town. So literally, with growing popularity and all that stuff, the town started to kind of sprout out around this place, which is pretty cool. One of the original owners, not the original owner, but one of the originals, was this gentleman here. Captain Colors is his name. That dusty old fart right there that you guys might not be able to see.
A little
Let me
bit.
see if I can.
There you go. Teamwork.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
He likes to visit.
Kind of creepy dude.
He
Pretty
doesn't
positive.
look creepy.
Pretty positive though. Like he is not too cool with what we're doing here. I will say that. Many people are experiencing him up on the second floor, and I'll show you exactly where that's at. Now in this room
You
specifically.
don't mind this, do you?
Not at all.
Okay.
So
I
we
should
know
ask
that
first.
Hey, Becky.
in the 1950s is when this place really shifted gears and it became more of what we would consider like a nursing home. It didn't last very long. We know in the 70s is when the state of Iowa came in, they said, oh, your hallways aren't wide enough to support transporting beds and things of that nature. So the nursing home kind of shut down right there. But this is when it gets super interesting for nerds like myself, and that's when it became more of like, I call it a group home.
Mm-hmm.
Other people have different names for it or whatever, but this group home was servicing any type of mental disorder you could possibly imagine. Everything from people with Down syndrome, alcoholics, I mean the whole gamut, all the way to the other end of the spectrum here with multiple personalities, schizophrenics, murderers were housed here as well. It's a very odd population of people under one roof. Now, with that population, there was this one gentleman, and we just call this Harry's chair, you know what I mean? So, now, we know that this gentleman was a nonverbal patient. So he wouldn't speak at all. He always wanted to be in this room or out on the front porch if it was nice outside. Like I said, he wouldn't speak, but he always had a radio that was pressed up to his ear, and he would whistle and hum with those tunes. Now, in this room specifically, with the acoustics being the way that they are in here, you will hear that disembodied whistling and humming a lot. So this wheelchair is also known to move about this room seemingly on its own. So very, very interesting stuff. So it was 3 years ago, 3 years and 3 days ago, when we initially found this place.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Ever
Happy
since,
anniversary.
Yeah, thanks. Ever since that date, ever since that first investigation that we did here, we have not touched a thing. We haven't moved anything. We think it kind of adds to the integrity of the place, and we feel it important that you guys are experiencing it exactly how we did. You know?
Wow.
So,
Okay.
now I also always tell people, don't feel like you're walking through a museum at all. We encourage people to sit in the chairs, lay in the beds, try the clothes on that are in the dressers, for God's sake.
Oh,
Like,
God.
we don't care. We know where everything goes, so
Uh-huh.
we will put it back, you know, so don't feel like you're messing anything up. This room specifically, This is what we call Gracie's room. Gracie was one of those exotic type cases here. So she was multiple personality, but she was also schizophrenic on top of that. So she had a lot going on mentally. Now, many times they would hear male voices coming from this room, and they would have to come and obviously check that out because they couldn't have a guy in a girl's room. But they would notice it was only her. But she could shift and manipulate her voice to make it sound male, which is quite fascinating. There was one evening, there was a group of 3 nurses that sat with Gracie for just a single hour. In the hour, they documented 13 separate personalities, which is unheard of. Honestly, it's almost unheard of. Very fascinating. We know that she seems to be like drawn more to male investigators. We don't necessarily know why. But if you're laying in her bed or sitting in her chair over here, like that's usually when the activity amps up the most. Her glasses still sit here on this little makeshift nightstand or TV stand. All of these items have been added, just things for her to move or manipulate. In this room specifically, like something that's been happening quite often now is a very strong smell of urine. And sometimes you'll be able to even smell it from the hallway. It is that strong. So sometimes I've had to remove myself from the equation because it smells so
We
bad.
had our DVR camera sitting right here. One of the girls was sitting on this. One of the girls was sitting over here. So the camera was over there. And the tripod only goes up and down.
Sure.
It doesn't go side to side. It just doesn't do that. So we were over there and they were talking about getting bullied. My daughter was talking about how she got bullied at school. And all of a sudden the camera panned over and like focused on her. Like, I can't see who's telling me this story, so let's go over here.
Wow.
And it was like, are you freaking kidding me? And the only way for it to move side by side is if you pick it up and move
Yeah,
it.
you'd have to physically.
If it was, and it hadn't moved for like an hour and a half, it had been going for a while, so it was like, if it was gonna move like that, I could see it pivoting up and down. There's no way for it to move sideways. It was bizarre.
That is nuts. All right.
What's in this room? What's this?
Just,
Storage.
yep, junk.
Okay. I should have brought you a flashlight.
So this is the nursing home wing, what we call the nursing home wing. So in the 50s is when this section of house was put on. I believe it was 1956 when this section was constructed. This is where that nurse's station once sat at one point. Obviously still names and things of that nature on the med cabinet. Now any information, specifically stating names and medications we removed from the building.
That's different than it was before. There was more papers in there before.
Where's that?
There was just papers laying all over the
Oh,
counter.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah, people have
Taking
apparently,
things.
yeah, taken things or tidied up or whatever. But yeah, there was a lot of these that
Yeah.
were lying around as well.
Yeah.
Stacks
Yeah.
of these, yeah. So, yep. I guess people get a little handsy every once in a while. This hallway here,
Oh, you promised to
specifically
sleep in the
facing
bathtub.
down here. Oh,
Yeah, they told me they wanted me to sleep in the bathtub.
that's great. So this hallway is what everybody refers to as the Shadow Man hallway. All the way down and on the right-hand side sits room number 2. That is generally where the shadow is coming from.
That's where the only guy in here who was like a bad guy, like a documented killer, a documented murderer,
Correct.
was in this room.
Correct. Yep, so what happens is he comes out of that room and charges at people.
Cool.
It is very fast. Literally, like in the distance from here to where we were just starting at the nurse's station, we're talking less than a second.
Are your ears popping?
Is that?
I got that elevation. I got that high elevation thing going on right now.
Now, one interesting thing about these two rooms, though, we are hearing things from inside both of these rooms now. In this room specifically, a lot of shuffling, and it almost sounds like you're kind of banging into things. Things are moving around. I mean, it's locked up tight. You know what I mean? Like,
Tell her about
nobody's
what
in
this
there.
guy used to do to the nurses.
Oh, so interestingly enough,
Try not to blind you.
when this guy would, every hour or so they were doing bed checks and rounds and all of that fun stuff, he would come out of this room and he would chase who was ever doing that documenting. Now this got to be like such a problem that they had to put rules and protocol in place. And the general consensus was to drop what you're doing and run to the kitchen. So where you first entered over there, right? Because he would chase you as far as the kitchen, but he would stop, and he would never cross the threshold into the actual kitchen itself, for whatever reason that may be. But it's very interesting to me that we're seeing similar phenomenon with this shadow figure chasing after people as this gentleman's behavior was in life. Very, very interesting stuff. So, this room has been insanely active as of lately. No real idea why or what the hell is going on.
Okay, we had a question while
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this right now. We were going through these rooms. Some of the rooms have toilets in them. Some of them have sink. Some of them have tubs. None of them have, like, everything.
Right.
Like, how come this person gets to wash their hands and they have to go to the other person's room to go to the bathroom?
Exactly. It's kind of weird, right?
It's like more than...
They can wash their hands.
And it's like, oh, that must be nice to kind of have a tub and, like, be able to take a bath in your room. But God forbid you have to go to the bathroom, then what do you do?
Exactly. Now, a lot of the rooms upstairs have at least a sink and a toilet. You know what I mean? So it's really, really weird how the setup was, because it's like
really
you
weird.
said. It's like you said. What happens
And
if
some
you
of
have
them
to
have
use the
handrails
restroom?
along the walls.
You
Yep.
go in the sink, dog.
You go in the sink. I bet a lot of people did. Which
I
is
just had
super
a
gross.
flashback of Bridesmaids.
There's her chair, by the way. That's where we put her chair in there.
I just had a flash of Bridesmaids.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Look away!
Look away!
Interesting stuff lately also. This light right here controls the whole hallway as far as the light, right? It has been turning itself on. So, kind of, I guess, be mindful of that. Like, but yeah, it's been leaving it or turning itself on. Same
It's heavy
thing.
up here. It's
Same
really
thing
heavy.
with the attic light. I've been getting phone calls from neighbors and stuff like that, I swear, saying, hey, is anybody at the manor? No. Well, the light's on. I'm like, oh, crap. Well, now I'm like, do I drive 15 minutes to come and shut off a light
Or
and
just
go back
change the
home?
bulb in the morning.
He goes, oh, never mind, it just shut off. I'm like, oh, okay. So, kind of interesting. Now, this was a hot spot for you guys
Yep.
the last time. Room 24.
Remember this, Diana?
Yeah.
This is
The
where
hangers
people-
were moving in the closet.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is where people are experiencing this gentleman spirit referring to himself as the captain the most.
Did you hear that in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
There was like a.
That was a loud bang.
Well, I know I walked in there and it went creak, but I heard something like shuffle.
Uh-huh. Wow.
I was like, nope, get out of there.
Dang. All
Could
right.
it be? Could it be
We're
like?
here.
Yeah. So, this is what we call Susie's room.
Oh, I don't remember Susie's room.
Susie was a middle-aged patient, mentally probably closer to the age of about 8, maybe 10 years old. So we found a lot of coloring books and activity books. Now, I will say this. Some of these are original. Obviously, this is one of them that we found. Now, some of these books have been added by people. Like, for example, I don't think they had
Frozen,
Frozen back in her day, okay? Now, also, some of these crayons, you can definitely tell which ones are old
Yep.
and which ones have been added. Like, these are not from us.
Crazy art is not.
Yeah, these are not from us. Regardless, we always invite people to, leave
Paper
her notes and color in the books, whatever you want. She likes to manipulate through the pages of the books here. But yeah, very cool stuff. So, what's interesting about her is the activity seems to be contained to the room, for whatever reason that may be. I always say that many of the other spirits that we have here, or resident spirits, are fairly transient. And they'll follow you throughout the place. She seems to just stay put right in here. So, not exactly sure why.
Susan just wants to color. It's cool.
We had a camera set up at the end of this hallway.
That's
and
smart.
Laura and I were in here, in Inez's room, right?
Mm-hmm. That's Inez.
Yeah, we were in Inez's room. And then we thought we heard something, so we walked in here and we were standing in here and we heard Tom and Becky. No,
It's
yeah.
me and
Yeah, you and Tom. We heard those two walk up here. And it was like, I don't think they know we're up here. Let's go over here. So we were over here. And then you guys had the Ovilus, and the Ovilus had 20. And I'm like, no, whatever room this was.
I don't remember what.
And maybe I don't remember what it said, but it said whatever room that we would have been in.
Frickin' calling you out.
I know, and it was like, Lord, they're telling on us. So we went in here and we kind of hid behind the door a little bit. And then we were waiting in there, and Diana, I don't know, remember what she said, but they were talking about something.
We
And
thought we heard something, and we're like,
I
sitting
knocked
there.
on the wall a little bit.
Oh
And
yeah.
they're just like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? So they're like all like heightened senses, and they're all ready. And then all of a sudden I came out here and I went, and I like went up and someone, God.
Son of a bitch. That's so great.
High kick, go! God!
We brought Inez a jump rope.
Nice. So yeah, this is Inez's room.
Hot up here.
It really
It
is.
And this is actually feels really good compared to what it has.
Yeah,
No.
I can imagine.
No.
A lot of people leave Inez gifts and things of that nature. Like you said, jump ropes and things like that. I don't know. Keys, money, candy.
Yeah.
And just anything. The dolls and things like that.
No.
Don't you guys clear
Yeah.
out the candy? Are you guys worried about bugs?
We do.
No.
So usually
You
about
didn't see
once.
the doll in his room, in his office.
What's that? Oh yeah, you haven't seen that yet.
It's a Victoria.
About once a week
Rose.
is when I'll come through, and I
Get rid of the candy and
Yeah.
stuff. We always take candy, anything that the bugs or critters can't get into. We don't want to feed them.
because I'm like, yeah, we don't want
Uh-huh.
we don't want to feed any problem like that. Now, one thing new, I guess, that has been happening is this door has been opening, and it's also been closing. So I make it a point to either one or the other, leave it wide open or make sure it's shut.
Or put a bell on it so when it does.
See,
then
that's one
Uh-huh.
thing that I really want to do. Just haven't done it yet.
Put a wind chime on it.
So, I don't know.
What's the story behind Inez?
So Inez was a 12-year-old girl back in 1900. She was found by her brother Otto, her younger brother Otto, hanging by her jump rope in a closet.
Has
Otto
this
was
been
younger?
verified?
I thought Otto was older. He's
Otto was
younger.
younger.
Okay.
Yep.
Has this
So-
been verified?
Yep. So now he also, Otto tried to get her down, couldn't.
Yeah.
Ran to the grocery store where adopted mom and dad were
Mm-hmm.
working. They owned the store at the time, but grabbed them. Coincidentally, found 2 doctors also on the way back here. Sadly, too much time had passed. They tried to revive her, couldn't. Another small little coincidence also is this must have been very traumatic, obviously, especially for the doctors. One of those doctors committed suicide 30 days later.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, this is all new
That's almost
information.
like Mary Peckham. How she kind of went crazy after
Yep.
she found the bodies. And,
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Because, I mean, I couldn't imagine that myself, being a father or whatever. I'm sure this gentleman was too. But, hey, God, like, just ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
So that must have really affected him in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that she is one of the most active spirits, running up and down the halls, giggling, asking you very audibly, come play. Things of that nature. Sometimes she'll pull your hair, tug on your clothes. She's a very playful little thing, that is for sure. So, interesting stuff. All right. The next stop is one of my favorites. Hangster in time.
Are you good now? Oh, this is the tub that they wanted Diana to sleep in.
Yeah, that's the tub I got voted
Okay.
to stay in.
See, it looks uber comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't one of the guys sleep in that?
They voted for you to no.
What?
Nick, you slept in the tub.
Did he sleep in the
I
tub?
think he slept in the
On the
tub.
first night.
That's funny. That's so funny. So anyway, this is what we call Hank's room or Henry's room, and I always say it kind of depends on the day and what he wants to be called. Okay, like he is your stereotypical grumpy old man.
Okay.
Tonight might be very, very interesting, just because we know that Hank does not like females at all. We'll call you a lot
Sorry,
of
Hank.
nasty names, things of that nature. Pretty much any vulgar term that you could possibly imagine.
That's what started my freak out at Velisca.
Yeah.
I got a fuck you bitch
See,
on the
I'm
headphones.
telling
Uh-huh.
you, like, it's pretty crazy. So, we know that everything, again, is how we found it.
Is
you
Hank's
know?
stuff still in the drawers?
Yep, it is now. So, Hank's clothes,
Wow.
right back here. Again, if you really
Just
feel
leave
like,
that up there.
yep,
Let's see
if
what
you really
happens.
feel like,
Sorry, Hank. If you don't like it, you can put it away. We're gonna leave that drawer
Exactly.
open for you. We'll come back and look.
but if you really want to stir the pot too, a little bit later, maybe try on a shirt and walk around with it and just be like,
Oh,
"Get
there
your
you go.
clothes on." Now, a lot of people are experiencing him, or at least his voice, without the aid of any type of recording equipment at all. It's amazing. Now, kind of watch your step
Yeah.
here.
Did you ever figure out why that door shut on him?
Or why it wouldn't open?
Yeah.
No. The same thing with
It
Johnny.
had been open.
Yep.
Johnny puked. Johnny, this is a room Johnny was gonna get sick on.
Yep.
And this is the door they couldn't get open.
Yep. Until they walked away.
Oh, because I just saw the afters. I didn't
Yep.
see the.
So they started to walk away apparently, and it. Mm-hmm. Clicks right open. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, dude.
They pounded on that door.
Mm-hmm. He said he was ready to cop kick it.
Uh-huh.
Like, it didn't work. I'm like, you should have just done it. Well, they know I'm not gonna care. You know, it is what it is. This is the room. I'm just gonna tell you the story that was told to us.
Okay.
And I'll tell
then-
you the other
yep,
story
and then I'll
later.
have her fill you in on kind of what's been happening.
Okay.
I will say the EVPs in these two rooms have been phenomenal lately. Very, very active. Now, the story that was told to us is this gentleman over here in room 18 pretty much had this whole bed check schedule down to a science, okay? He knew exactly when they were coming, how long they were going to be on the floor, and when they were coming back. 3 to 4 times a week, he would mosey off into this room over here and sexually assault the gentleman in this room. Now, it's nasty. You know, it's terrifying. We have a lot of EVPs that would suggest the exact same thing happened. We have a lot of documentation that would suggest the same thing happened.
But you know what?
You know?
If Johnny and Nick were out here and couldn't get in that room,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that guy had his room locked because he didn't want anybody to come in there.
Very possible.
Because, hey, I've been attacked several times, so I'm going to keep this shut until you guys are safe and I know that the coast is clear.
Yeah,
you know?
strange dudes walking through
Uh-huh.
the hall. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now I'm afraid of every guy.
Now, I will say, yeah, I already said it, didn't I? The EVPs in those rooms are
Yeah.
phenomenal. Come
Oh,
dude.
no. Don't. If I get stuck up there,
It's a pain in the butt.
we'll go in the attic.
Just 1 second. Oh.
Is the attic light out?
Huh.
Do you hear something?
Uh-huh.
Shut up. Here.
Let me grab this real quick. Okay.
Just hear them talking downstairs.
Yeah. Now I have a very long string here, which you can see here.
Yeah.
That you just pull and it turns the light on. Before we were having to go all the way up
Uh-huh.
there.
Yeah.
And I was not having it.
We're definitely going to put a camera up there tonight.
It's a really good idea.
And
It's
a
really
recorder.
good idea.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of these stairs.
So up here,
Even hotter.
yeah, it's super hot. Up here, we hear a lot of things. a lot of growling, a lot of get out, a lot of F off, you know, things like that. Whoever or whatever is up here doesn't seem to really care for people. It's very interesting. Now we don't know, what this room's purpose was. Now we do know that the room had some form of purpose because there's trim and there's baseboards and moldings and all of that stuff. Even this old chimney here that has been deconstructed has paint on it. This paint coincidentally gives really nasty glare and infrared light, so we just try to eliminate that for people.
Good to know.
But this chimney was also the cause of that fire that's up there, that fire damage that you see up there. Lately,
Did anything happen in the fire? Did anybody get hurt or?
we know of one gentleman that did pass away from a fire.
Okay.
So we can only assume, that that's what it was. But back in here, sorry, I just thought I heard something. But anyway, this is one of the crawl space areas back in here. On the other side, it's the same thing. They just go back up in there. Now, I've been back in there 5 different times, specifically looking for animals, carcass, droppings, anything like that would suggest the scratching or the growling or anything like that. And I found nothing other than some really cool trinkets. Well, that's like a wasp or something. I was like, what is flying around? But anyway. Yeah. So anyway, what people are seeing are arms, like an arm coming out. So what this thing is trying to do, I call it peacocking. So what he's trying to do is basically scare you enough that you leave. I don't think he's really got enough gusto in him to do anything other than try to scare the crap out of you. Because what's interesting is he is begging you.
Lisa, is that you down there?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But he'll beg you. After he...
Dick.
But after he tells you to, piss off and leave, he's going to beg you for alcohol and cigarettes, which we try to accommodate, as much as possible. So that's not me just up here partying or anything like that. Like I'm up here every day, so I try to accommodate the dude who leaves me alone.
Do this without. Sorry guys, it's gonna be very awkward because these stairs are about a foot wide.
Ears popping, this ear will not.
Oh God, I'm gonna get up there. I'm not grateful enough for those stairs.
Just for future reference, I'm letting you know, I shut the light off, and this door is closed.
All right.
So when you come back up here later and the light's on and the door's open.
624 noted.
Yeah. But that's the place. Whew. Warm up here. My gosh.
All right, guys, we're gonna get set up now. We're gonna set up our cameras and stuff. We'll give another tour as soon as we get that set up, so you know where everything is and you can request stuff. So see you later.